been a dire state of affairs when it comes to the restaurant industry that was literally brought to its knees with the pandemic hitting the country. Most of these restaurants had to completely and virtually shut their doors, never to reopen again. There had been a sharp recovery which had kicked in, which has now been completely undone with the second wave of coronavirus. So it looks like the restaurant industry is back to square one, which was the peak of the pandemic. In fact, any further restrictions or any further lockdowns that take place is only going to worsen the impact on the industry. They are trying to minimize their costs in order to survive, but it looks like it's a very bad state of affairs. So we wanted to understand what the way forward is, how some of these companies can really survive, and what needs to be done from the government standpoint in order to aid the flailing sector. We spoke with Anurag Katriar of NRAI, the National Restaurants Association of India, and he was very candid in admitting that the sector has been brought to its knees completely. The first wave was backbreaking for the sector, given that 30% of restaurants closed, never to reopen again. Now with these cloud kitchens, online delivery, home delivery, QSR essentially, that just forms a meager portion of the overall revenues, close to 10 to 15% of revenues for these restaurants. And given that in-dining restaurants or the experiential dining has come to a complete standstill. He said that they have started engaging with stakeholders of the entire restaurant ecosystem, and every stakeholder needs to come forward in order to ensure that the trade of the restaurant industry is actually saved. He says that the situation cannot get any worse as of now for the restaurant industry, because they've essentially become delivery kitchens for a few hours. So this is as bad as it gets. He hopes this time around, and he and everyone within the restaurant industry is echoing the same thing, that the government takes the situation more seriously in order to ensure that, at least with the state of affairs of the way things are right now, that things are a lot smoother. So like e-curfew passes, permissions are smooth for the delivery persons, that there is a lot more clarity as to who can be on the road. Now going ahead and having implemented further restrictions starting tonight, with no train services being allowed to be used except for medical personnel, makes it even tougher for the delivery people, and they don't know how they're going to even manage. Restaurants are surviving. The survival of the restaurants, actually, according to Anurag, is only dependent on what these curfews are and how long they will extend. They need liquidity support, they need moratoriums, they need less collateral to the restaurant industry in order to actually survive. He said that out of the 7.5 million approximately employed, almost 3 million jobs have already been lost in the industry. Majority of the staff is below the age of 45, and therefore the vaccination hasn't even really taken